STEM careers and education plays a pivotal role in enhancing Long Island's workforce. I'm Hilary Topper, and welcome to Hilary Topper on Air. Our guest today is Andrew Parton, co-steward of Long Island STEM Hub and president of the Cradle of Aviation Museum. Hi, Andy. Welcome to the show.
Thanks very much for having me.
So, can you tell us a little bit about Cradle of Aviation first, and then Long Island STEM Hub and its mission?
Sure. So the Cradle is Air and Space Museum located at what was Mitchell Field, which was the Army Air Base that dates back to World War One. We're home to over 75 planes and spacecraft. Um, we're a STEM education center in that we use the aircraft and the artifacts and everything here to talk about the science and technology behind everything that was built. And everything in the museum has a connection to Long Island. So we don't have aircraft or spaceships or things that had nothing to do with Long Island, whether it was built here or a milestone was created here. So it has that true Long Island connection. It honors the men and women who worked in aerospace and technology, going back to World War One, really. And that's all on display here. We do have three missions. One is preservation of the history, two is education, and the third is inspiration. So our hope is that students that come through, whether with a class trip or their families, get inspired to look at aerospace as a career path. And there are hundreds of companies here on Long Island still in aerospace that are very hungry for talent. And so we hope this all connects together, which is why have been a big part of the STEM Hub since its founding roughly, I want to say 10 or 11 years ago. It was the Cradle of Aviation Museum, Brookhaven National Lab, and Northwell Health. We combined resources to basically be co-stewards of the hub for the Empire State Learning Network. And that was developed to really bolster in each region in the state of New York, growth industries. And one of the major roles that the hub plays is trying to bridge the gap between industry and education. Um, the challenges of living on Long Island are all well known, but a lot of local kids, and I think their parents too, don't understand that there are jobs and careers right here in their own backyard that are well-paying jobs. So we hope that we're able to kind of market careers, which is the main thing I think we do at the hub, and doing that by creating programs that are free to the general public and hoping to promote these exciting opportunities that exist right here. And it's not just aerospace, obviously. It's in healthcare, it's in energy and manufacturing and engineering and things like that. So that's in a nutshell.
Now, before we get into the career conversation program, I want to ask you why it's so important that students learn about STEM.
Well, I think, almost every job that exists has some facet of STEM. Okay. If you look at almost every job has technology as a component. Um, most people don't want to hear this, but almost every job requires math. Even though you think when you get out of high school that you don't have to use it again, you're going to use it again. But STEM, pure STEM subjects are hard. They're not an easy path for everybody to take. But they tend to be better paying jobs. And because they're difficult, there's fewer kids that look at that as a career path. And so that's why these industries, whether it's healthcare or engineering or aerospace, have a challenge of finding talent.
So let's talk a little bit about this career conversation program. How does it work, and what kind of professions and experts are involved in mentoring and guiding students in the past years?
Well, we started Career Conversations a couple of years ago, and the idea was to provide an opportunity for students and their parents to basically learn about these different careers. Too often, I think, you do have job fairs at the schools or you do have people going into the classroom, but I think very little of that filters to the parents. And I think there's still a fair majority of kids will rely on their parents for guidance. And the challenge is most parents don't know beyond what their job is, what they've done for their lives, what careers exist. Um, we say if you take healthcare, everybody knows a doctor and a nurse, but they don't know there's 1,000 other jobs in between. In aviation, there's a pilot and a flight attendant. There's 1,000 other jobs in between. I know in aviation, for every pilot, there's 5 or 6 jobs associated with that pilot. It's same thing in the healthcare field. So I think it's the career conversations are designed to we bring in experts in each field. It's a free event generally on a Saturday morning, and not a huge crowd, maybe 50 to 100 people at a time, but they get to meet somebody in the field, and we always try to get um, the presenters to be on the youngish side of life. So they're not like me with gray hair, who have, been through the wars. It's somebody who's kind of recently started. And they get to talk directly to the kids. And again, the parents in terms of here's what you need to do. If you're a freshman in high school and you want to go into a certain field, these are the things you need to be focused on. Get involved in clubs and activities that tie to it. Um, and again, it's one of a series of things that the hub does. Because I mean, too often schools will have a job fair, job fair is over, everybody wipes their brow and say, oh, great, we had a great event, and that's it. It has to be a series of activities and events that pound out the message that, there are great jobs here. Now, again, we don't mind like in aerospace if somebody goes to work for SpaceX or they go to work for Airbus or Lockheed Martin, and they're not in the New York area. But we would like to show them that there are jobs right here in their own backyard.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about any success stories that stand out with the Career Conversation Program, and also some activities and examples of opportunities that you offer in addition to speakers.
Yeah, we've had a number of anecdotal stories where somebody came to either a STEM hub event or a career conversation and really got directed and focused on what they wanted to do. And so they either ended up going to a 4-year college program in that particular field, or in some cases they shifted gears. And because the one thing we try to show as well is that there's a variety of different ways to a career. You could go to a 4-year school, you could go to a 2-year school and work in a company. You could come out of high school with a certificate in certain fields and start work right away. Um, and all of them are good. None of them have are necessarily better than the others. So we've had a number of instances where kids in high school will get a certificate in manufacturing, in running a CNC machine, and immediately get a job. And in most cases, the company, if the student wanted to, could go to school at night and get a degree. Um, but again, a lot of kids and parents don't know that these opportunities exist like that. I think long term, we've seen kids who, everybody wanted to go into IT and create an app. In most cases, solving problems we don't have, but create an app and then make a lot of money selling the app. But we have had kids who go into IT and end up working at Disney or working in graphics for Pixar or somebody like that. So we've heard of those stories. And again, they're more anecdotal because it's very hard to track these kids over the course of time. But we do know that slowly but surely, the message of STEM education and STEM opportunities and being successful is hitting home.
Tell me how you get the word out to parents and students
Well,
about these types of programs.
I mean, most of it is either social media. All the dates are on the Cradle's website in terms of where to go about the career conversations. A lot of it is we communicate with all the school districts that the museum works with. I mean, in Nassau County, we probably touch, over 95% of the school districts. Suffolk County, it's a little bit less. But Suffolk County is an example of a new program where we're working with MacArthur Islip Airport. They're providing us with classroom space. We're having schools further east in Suffolk that normally wouldn't come to the Cradle meet us at the airport. We'll get a guided class at the airport and then get a tour of the airport to see about careers in aviation, all the different variety of jobs. So that's an example of something where we understand schools, especially in Eastern Suffolk. The bus ride itself takes up your day. Um, so we're able to work with MacArthur Islip Airport to kind of bring aviation education out there, but more importantly is expose students at the middle and high school level to all these careers and jobs that exist to make an airport work.
Awesome. Thank you. Before we move on, I just have to say I'm so appreciative of our sponsors and must take the time out to thank them. Please support our sponsors and tell them that you heard about them on Hilary Topper on Air. Special thanks to the Russo Law Group, Long Island's signature elder law, special needs, and estate planning law firm, and Buddha Bath, a natural bath and body care company that offers a wide variety of products, including body butter, bath bombs, soap bars, and sugar scrubs. Now back to you, Andy. That was okay. Engaging students in STEM at an early age is essential. How do you collaborate with schools and educators to integrate these initiatives into their curriculum or extracurriculum activities?
Well, a lot of what we do is we have what we call STEM partnerships with certain districts where they'll be making multiple visits to the museum during the course of the school year, and we will make multiple visits in an outreach program into the school. So we're kind of integrate the museum's collection, our science and STEM programs into their curriculum on a, more yearly basis as opposed to like the one-off. It used to be the school trip was, 50 kids get off the bus and you hope 50 kids get back on the bus, and that was about it. But here it's really trying to work with districts that, especially in underserved areas of the island, um, we can kind of instill a lot of the excitement about STEM into those programs. So we do that with roughly a dozen school districts on the island. Can't hear you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Normally that would be me.
So talk to me about how businesses and educational institutions get involved.
Sure. We have Cradle staff. We serve on boards of some of the industry groups in the area. In aerospace, it's ADAPT, ADDAPT. Um, we're on the board of the JFK Chamber of Commerce, which gets us close to the airport community. And in addition to that, we work with a lot of local businesses who participate in not just career conversations, but they'll participate in career fairs we may host here at the museum or at Brookhaven or with Northwell. And a lot of it is there's hundreds of companies out there that are very willing to work with local school districts, and they do that on a ongoing basis as almost like adopt a school. And again, it's all of these things together that will make all this stuff work. And it's, an investment in time and resources that Northwell, Brookhaven, and the Cradle has done for almost a dozen years. But it's, you just don't stop and you just don't rely on any one avenue. You just keep pounding it out every day you can.
Awesome. And I definitely have been seeing a difference in the last decade. So thank you for that. Looking ahead, What are future plans and aspirations for the career conversation program and for STEM Hub?
I think it's continuing what we've done, but the biggest challenge is communication. The biggest challenge is making students, teachers, parents aware of not just the STEM hub, but STEM in general. And so, we're challenged with how do you communicate in the environment we live in today, which is everybody has an attention span of 3 seconds. Um, and they're being bombarded by all these different media channels, social and traditional and otherwise. So that I think will continue to be an issue. Um, so it comes down to almost like a marketing question: is how do you market the STEM hub and STEM careers better? And unfortunately, in some cases, it does cost some funding to do that. So we always try to get some partners who might help us do that.
Absolutely. And what message would you like to convey to our listeners who might be interested in supporting or getting involved with Long Island Stamp Hub and its endeavors?
I think it's imperative that companies, this is a long-term approach. This isn't, I'm going to do this and fund a program because we're talking to middle school and early high school students. So you need to make the investment and understand that the payoff is maybe 4, 5, 6 years away. But if you do it now and you continue to do it, you're going to have a steady stream of talent that you can look at for your company. And I understand in most cases with small and mid-sized companies here on the island, that's a hard thing to do. But the more we can get companies to do that, the better off the island will be moving forward.
That's great. And finally, how can people get in touch with you and learn more about Long Island STEM Hub?
The easiest thing right now is to go to the Cradle's website. We have a portal there for the career conversations, and then, communicate directly with us. And then we can communicate with the rest of the co-stewards and the rest of our partners.
Thank you so much, Andy. This was great, great information, and hopefully we'll get a lot more people interested and excited because this is really a great program. I'd also like to thank our sponsors once more, the Russo Law Group, Long Island's signature estate planning, elder law, and special needs firm. For more information, visit bjrussolaw.com and Buddha Bath, a natural bath and body care company. For more information, visit buddhabath.net. And last but not least, I want to thank you, our listeners, for tuning in. If you want more information on this show or any other show, you can visit us at hilarytopper.com. You could find us on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Alexa, Google Play, you name it. We're out there. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks again.